let me just show you the reason that so many people are outraged, okay? And the reason that I don't know. And then I'll show you the reason. Then I'll show you the people pretending that there's no need for the outrage. So first of all, let me show you. This was Chicago from last week. I'll show you a bit of that.
Guys, they're making it worse here! Get back!
Over here. So that was a week ago. We left Chicago a week ago Monday, and these were protesters that I think these were state police, okay? And then now show the Portland one. Get back! Back up! Back up! That's Portland, okay? And that is against protesters. Now, I want to show you, this is from Chinatown yesterday here in Manhattan. Watch.
Public street, man.
So this is what happened. And they're saying that they were snatching up vendors on Canal Street yesterday. So randomly going through. Now, I'm just showing you the chaos. I don't know if they identified themselves. I was not there. Many people are saying they don't really identify themselves. They don't show any warrants, probable cause, or a warrant signed by a judge. They don't. And so I said, well, you guys know what I said, that this was a moment that everyone needed to know what their constitutional rights were, especially as it relates to the Second Amendment. And as I started thinking about it, about the tyrannical government and government overreach, that's what the Second Amendment was written for. That's basically the premise of the Second Amendment. Especially if people come to your door and you don't know who they are and they're masked and they show no probable cause and they show no identification, then that's what the right has been fighting for decades, if not, since the Second Amendment was written. People, not just the right, but lately the right. They think that the Second Amendment is sacrosanct. So if it's sacrosanct for a certain kind of person, wouldn't it be sacrosanct for Black and brown people? And that was my point. And then why don't we start with Megyn Kelly? Here's her response.
Go back and read what the Second Amendment says. And perhaps it will knock some sense in the heads of these people who are saying, well, it's all great. I don't believe they're doing it without due process. They're asking people for papers. They're not really beating people up. These people are doing things that are illegal. Nobody is illegal. It is a misdemeanor to cross the border.
Okay, I don't know when he developed a lisp, but now he has a lisp, I guess.
Here's the thing, Megyn. That is distorted audio for some reason, whoever recorded it, the audio came out that way. Maybe they had the echo cancellation on or something was wrong. So it made me sound like this. So I don't have a lisp, as you know, because you listen to me all the time. I'm sure you've heard my voice. I don't have a lisp. The second thing is what I said after that, she cut out. She deliberately, how did it end, Andy? I forget. What did she say? Back it up just a little bit. Just right there.
Illegal. Nobody is illegal. It is a misdemeanor to cross the border.
Okay, I don't know when he.
And then I said, it's a misdemeanor to cross the border. And then I go on to say, unless you do it. I think I said it in that clip, but I've said it before. If you do it again or a number of times, and then it goes up. So I said, I'm not exactly sure if I said it in that clip, but I've said it in this conversation and in other conversations. But they cut that out. So no, I don't have a lisp. It's distorted audio. I don't know what happens. And also, if they're recording it on Substack, for some reason, it does that. Okay, though I do not sound like Mike Tyson. Go on, Megyn.
Developed a lisp, but now he has a lisp, I guess. And he's out there actually saying that they're tearing Americans out of their homes and deporting them without due process. That's a lie.
Pause.
That is
okay,
a
that's
lie.
Not a lie. I said that they were detaining them. I didn't say that they were deporting them. So that is a lie. Megyn, do you just what your producer tells you, whatever that guy is? There's a producer that Megyn has who used to work at CNN, and I think he was like Piers Morgan's like social media producer, but then they prop him up like he was some guy who ran the company. He was not an executive. He was like the social media guy back when social media did not have as much clout as it does now. Like, and they were trying to build it. So, and now he's like, I think he's still there. He works for Megyn. Megyn, do you listen to your stuff that you're gonna talk about, that you're gonna talk shit about, or do you just go by what your producers say? Because I never said they were deporting people. I said that they were detaining people. And we have the evidence and the proof. Go look at the ProPublica. Go look at our reporting. We were on the ground. Maybe she should get from behind the desk and actually go out to some of these places and witness some of this stuff and do some like actual real reporting. But I don't think she's a reporter. She's just like an anchor, a talking head. Keep going.
There is not an American citizen who's not entitled to and doesn't get due process. The whole battle we're having
that is a lie.
Over people who are here illegally, or in some cases who are here on a temporary visa that can be withdrawn just as easily and quickly as it was granted, because they are guests here and their invitation does not have to be never ending. So you spout off about certain things, or the State Department deems you to be a potential danger. Yeah, your visa is probably going to go away. But actually rounding people up is only happening to suspected illegals who
pause.
The one.
Megyn, that is a fucking lie. Or you're either intentionally lying or you're misinformed and you just don't know. Do you read? Or do you actually read anything other than the Daily Caller or the right wing people, or listen to all the folks on the right? Because if you actually did it doesn't take, just do a Google search. Why don't you go back and watch our shows from Chicago? And there is a citizen, a man, I'm going to play him in a bit, a black man born in America who was detained for 10 hours. Keep going.
Who are getting shipped out immediately already have a prior order of deportation. And the ones who actually get housed and then offered a trial are ones who need some order of administrative hearing, which they get before they get deported. There's been one category of people used under the Alien Enemies Act, where Trump went to a more extreme measure on all people who were here illegally. It was all not U.S. citizens. That's what they want you to believe. And on top of all that, what he is having people to believe is that if you get a knock from an ICE agent on your door, no matter who you are, if you're black or brown, you're going to get arrested and shipped out without due process. That's a lie. That kind of messaging is going to get an ICE officer shot and killed.
Okay, Megyn, first of all, I said nothing about shooting or violence. As a matter of fact, I said I'm not condoning violence. I didn't tell anyone to do that. I just said go check out your rights. And perhaps you should, if you are legal, do it legally. Perhaps you should own a gun, black and brown people. It just scares people when you say that. You know what I'm saying? So none of what you said there, actually everything that you said in there was built on something that I didn't say, or something that was a lie, or something that you wanted to interpret. I didn't say that people were being shipped out. I said that they were being detained, that they were getting scooped up. And we have evidence of it. And Megyn, do you believe everything that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth? It's like everything that comes out of his mouth, gospel, truthful, blood coming out of your wherever? Was that gospel? Was that truthful? She had blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever. And now you are carrying water and kissing Donald Trump's ass, the man who insulted you beyond an insult? Girl, bye. Okay. Now Matt Walsh. Here he is.
I'm bringing that. That's an insult we need to bring back into circulation, doofus, because it really applies to Don Lemon. That's just the first. Every time I see him, it's actually the first thing that pops into my head. I don't know. There are a lot of insults that fit him really well. Some we can say on camera and some we can't. But doofus.
Some that we can say on camera and some we can't. Now remember, he's in digital. He's streaming. He can say whatever he wants. So what are you saying, Matt Walsh? What word or pejorative would you like to insult me with that you cannot say on camera? I want to hear it. What word, what name would you like to call me that you can't say on camera? Does it begin with an N? Or maybe it begins with an F? Because those are the only words that I think that you could say those. You could. So why don't you just go ahead and say it if you want to say it and stop using that code? Because I believe that's the only thing that you cannot say on camera, that you believe you can't say on camera, Matt Walsh. So that's how your criticism starts. You start by calling me a name, and then you start by lying about what I said. Now, you guys tell me in the chat what you think that word is, or the name that he can't call me on camera, what you think it is. Interesting. Keep going. Telling.
Is a good one, and it fits him, suits him well. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that Don Lemon just explicitly encouraged people to go out and buy a gun and use it against federal law.
That's a lie. I never said that. Not once did I say that. And I also said I am not condoning or encouraging violence. I just want people to know their rights. I want people to read the Constitution. And if legally, if they have a right to carry, if they can, the Constitution says so. That's the Second Amendment. Isn't that what you guys are? So then if I'm encouraging violence, then you have been encouraging violence for decades. Because I'm sure that you have been pro the Second Amendment, and they want to take our guns. They took our guns. Go on.
Enforcement officers. That is a crime. Speaking of crimes, that's a crime. And not a misdemeanor either, by the way. Threatening government officials, and that's what this was unambiguously, is a felony punishable. Well, it was published on that, but punishable by 5 years in prison. And given that he was encouraging people to commit this crime in order to avoid being arrested for committing another crime, then you could also say this is obstruction of justice. I mean, there are multiple.
Let's just say that I forget what the percentage is, producers, if you can tell me. The percentage of people who have actually been detained who have criminal backgrounds, very low. So that part is also a lie. And if there's no due process, and if you're not showing people a warrant or probable cause, then your due process rights are being violated. And U.S. citizens are being detained. So another response based on a false premise of a distortion of my words, him and Megyn Kelly. Keep going.
At least 2 felonies that Don Lemon just committed. At least 2. So he should be arrested today. He committed a crime. That's not free speech. You have no right to say that. You don't have a right to just say whatever you want, actually. There are some things you don't have a right to say. And one of those things is to tell people to go out and shoot and kill federal agents. You don't have a right to say that. You should go to jail.
I didn't say that. I mean, is that? I mean, knowing that I didn't say that, and if I tell you I didn't say it and go back and then you continue to say it, is that defamation? Is that libel? Is that slander? I don't know, because that's not what I said at all. Can you just go back to the beginning and just pause? since Matt Walsh is go back to the end of this and just pause. You can just put up the pause picture. So, and he's talking about a crime. You can put it up, Andy. So, you know what a crime is? A crime is that jacket you're wearing. If you want to be petty, since you're being petty, a crime is that jacket. A crime is that beard. A crime is the fake fireplace behind you, that decor. That is criminal. Should I call the decoration police or the fashion police? That's a crime, Matt Walsh. Do better. Probably not a bad looking man under there, but you're looking very JD Vance. Maybe you want to try some eyeliner, and then you'll be like a twin. You guys will look exactly alike. Lose the glasses, try some eyeliner, and then get an ill-fitting suit that's too small for you. And you can go as JD Vance for Halloween. Dead ringer. You want to be petty? All right, let's go. Do you want to be petty? Keep going. That's it, right? All right, let me see who else. Oh, Fox News is next. Here we go.
All right. Joey, let's start with you. And let's start with Don Lemon's point that he made there. Everybody should go out and get a gun.
Yeah, I agree with him completely. Everybody should go out and get a gun legally where you can. The problem is just about any city that has laws he's advocated for, you can't get one legally, even if you are a citizen. On top of that, if you are a citizen and they're coming to your house and beating the door down, it's because your hermano is illegal.
Pause.
And he's wanted for rape.
That is a lie. Oh, he's going back to the they're bringing drugs, they're bringing crimes, they're rapists, and some I would imagine are good people because he's bringing up the R word. Okay, so again, another response, a defense built on a false premise of something that is not happening and something that I did not say. So I want you to hear all of his words. Just back it up a little bit because he's saying they're coming because your man is, has problems or is a rapist or whatever he's saying. Keep going.
One legally, even if you are a citizen. On top of that, if you are a citizen and they're coming to your house and beating the door down, it's because your hermano is illegal and he's wanted for rape or murder. He brought a backpack of drugs here with him and he needs to go. And if you have a problem with that and pull a gun out on ICE for doing their job, you'll suffer the same lowly fate that a lot of people have, and then they'll all be crying at your funeral. That's just the truth of it. Absolutely, the Second Amendment is in part to repel tyranny. This isn't tyranny. This is the law. This is enacting the law. And let's just say, if anything happens to an ICE agent, Don Lemon now has blood on his hands. If he had a platform big enough to reach people that we didn't lend him by playing that video.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I have no idea who you are, sir. I have never seen you before, but yet you are talking about me. So perhaps I have a platform that's big enough for you to respond to, because otherwise you would not. So that's contradiction at all. And by the way, the platform is really great. Thank you. Closing in on 1 million. So like and subscribe. That's my thing. But first of all, I never said that anybody should harm anyone. I'm just saying exactly what you were saying. Now, in the beginning of that, they all had, because they're caught. They all said, well, I agree with Don Lemon. I agree with Don Lemon. But then they have to insult me because that's the only defense that they really have. Because for decades, they have been spouting the Second Amendment is sacrosanct. You said, I can defend my property. You're not taking my guns. You're not whatever. I have a right to. Okay, same thing goes now to Black and brown people. They have the right to defend themselves and their person, and they also have a right to carry a weapon, a gun. That's what the Second Amendment is about. Remember that. Government overreach, a tyrannical government, a well-regulated militia. So thank you. I forget his name or whatever. I'm sure you're a decent human being, but I have never seen you before. I have no idea who you are. And you're on a borrowed platform. This is my own. And doing very well. Thank you very much. Oh my gosh. These people are so fucking ridiculous. and embarrass themselves. So like they have no defense. And so what I have found, the best way to respond is to kind of like, not the same as what Gavin Newsom does. So Gavin Newsom does it on social media. And so he pretends, or not pretends, he acts like, I guess it's pretending to be Trump in his responses, except it's him, right? So he's doing this thing. But all I'm doing is I'm trying to show you what you have said. And if it's good for you, then it's good for me. And it's good for everybody. If the Second Amendment applies to you, if it applies to white guys in trucks, if don't tread on me applies to, as I said, to white guys in trucks, but then not to everybody else, not to immigrants, then everything that you said is bullshit. It is BS. And I got to say, should we play the DL thing? Let's play DL, but roll DL in because we've seen the whole Megyn Kelly thing. So just roll for DL's response after he plays the Megyn Kelly clip. So he plays the Megyn Kelly clip, and then this is DL Hughley.
It's August 1992, Ruby Ridge, Idaho. Federal officers attempt to serve an arrest warrant on one Randy Weaver. Shots ring out. An 11-day standoff ensued. Now, one of Randy Weaver's children was killed, I believe his son. Also, Kevin Harris, was a friend of Weaver's, killed a federal officer. Both Randy Weaver and Harris went to trial. Weaver was acquitted of the most serious charges, found guilty of the felony gun charge. Kevin Harris was charged with murder, and he was acquitted of the murder of a federal officer, and he was acquitted because he argued that those federal officers never identified themselves. They wore camouflage, they wore masks, and they didn't know who they were. And the jury agreed with him. After Randy Weaver got out, his family was awarded $3.1 million. So federal officers showing up, heavily armed, without masks, with masks and camouflage, not identifying themselves, resulted in a shootout. And those men were found not guilty. Those men did the very thing that the Second Amendment is for. When they believe that a tyrannical government overreaches, this is the remedy that the Second Amendment offers. I wonder if Megyn Kelly thinks that Don Lemon is wrong, or that Don Lemon just ain't white.
Oh my gosh, I love this so much. These people are such hypocrites. Thank you, DL, for that. Because, again, Megyn, do your homework. Matt Walsh, do your homework. And remember, you saw the man in Wheeling, Illinois. You heard him. He's pissed off. These people out here marauding the streets with masks are stirring up anger, and I'm afraid stirring up violence. And I'm afraid people are going to get hurt. I don't want that to happen. If you don't believe that people are being rounded up, I want you to meet, this is a man. That's why I tell Megyn, Matt, get out there and go do some reporting if you're going to talk about it. Don't just rely on your producers or what you hear from other people. This is Luther, who was rounded up by ICE agents, taken to the detention center. Here he is. So I've heard people say they're not just rounding people up, they're getting identification. They're not being rough with people. What do you say?
They're lying. Whoever's saying that, they're lying. They're not checking IDs. Okay.
I had a conversation with a woman the other day. She said her dad had been deported several times, but they weren't roughing people up. They weren't taking them off the street without due process and without proper warrants.
No, that's not true. That's not true, because the building behind me was the building that they were targeting.
This building right here, the orange brick building?
Yeah. And I couldn't understand why they were at my building, because my building is not there. I'm a block over in the middle of the block. So I didn't see any reason for them to be bothering us.
They were just scooping people up randomly, you think?
Yeah. And even the people that people that were just hanging out here were all rounded up as well.
Just people hanging out.
Just people hanging out. Just people he grew up with, he says. People are people that he knew, his neighbors. Here's one more of him being detained despite being a citizen and wanting to show them his proof.
And with me being a U.S. citizen, I felt that I was fine. I didn't feel that I had anything to worry about. I felt sorry for a lot of the people who were getting scooped up, because I was under the impression that they were Latino or something like that, right? But you could look at me and see that I'm black. I don't care if you were black, if you were dark-skinned, light-skinned, they were just scooping people up, period.
You think they were doing that to people they think didn't have the resources to fight back?
That I couldn't say.
Wow.
That I couldn't say.
That was Luther's story. By the way, just so you know, these are the facts. The majority of individuals in detention, this was as of September 2025, had no criminal conviction. Out of the 59,762 detainees, 42,755, which was 71.5%, had no criminal conviction. Matt, Walsh, Megyn Kelly, and whoever else jumps on this bandwagon, Fox News, and the dude, I have no idea who he is. Other data from August of 2025 indicates a similar trend, with about 70% of detainees lacking criminal conviction. We're only going to pick up the bad guys and the criminals. That's what Trump said. And then Matt Walsh says, oh, these are criminals or whatever. And then Megyn Kelly says that there are no U.S. citizens are being detained. And then the guy on Fox News says, it's all because they're criminal and they're illegal and they're, rapists. That's what he says. Please do some reporting. Please look at the facts. I'd rather spend my time not having to respond to bogus criticism and people who don't have facts. Okay? Okay. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.